Here are 5 Dragon's Dogma 2 mods I'd literally pay Capcom to add. Not as DLC packs, but bundled in a future Ultimate or Complete Edition if that ever comes. Maybe with a Switch 2 release, I'd swipe the card, no questions asked. These don't break the vanilla feel, they fix stuff that should have been fixed yesterday, and just give you more Dragon's Dogma 2. Treat this video as both a poetic letter to Capcom from a desperate fan and a personal PC must-have mod list. For more Dragon's Dogma 2 content, hit subscribe, there's plenty more where this came from.
Shall I lead the way?
Dragon's Dogma 2 has 2 difficulties, very easy and extremely easy peasy lemon squeezy. This mod fixes that, custom difficulty tweaks by talimity. Custom difficulty settings are exactly the kind of thing that should have been baked into vanilla from day one. Well, maybe not day one, but definitely sooner than later. I'm talking damage taken by you and your pawn, enemy damage, boss toughness, stagger resistance, rewards, even the in-game economy. One modder added all that days after launch with duct tape and dreams. Imagine what Capcom could do with full engine access and tools. If a complete edition ever drops, I want a brutal difficulty option that actually makes me think, forces me to experiment with builds, and actually give a damn about who's in my party. Dragon's Dogma 2's combat spoiled me for other action RPGs, and this mod is the closest thing to what the game should have been. One of the weirder omissions from Dragon's Dogma 2's HUD settings is the complete lack of an option to turn off those annoying ass chat bubbles that float above NPCs' heads. You can disable the minimap, health bars, control prompts, almost everything except the speech bubbles. The only vanilla workaround is nuking the entire HUD, which is far from ideal. It's baffling. Dragon's Dogma 2 is built for immersion, yet they force you to watch every pawn and merchant shout through a floating comic book panel. This mod disables speech bubbles by sjbox, fixes that. A tiny change that makes a massive difference. So Capcom, add this and pretend it was your idea. And next up, Monster Infighting by Alpha Z Omega. A simple, highly customizable mod that makes enemies turn on each other when they take enough friendly fire. Once they hit the damage threshold, they start throwing hands. It adds a layer of chaos and unpredictability to Dragon's Dogma 2's already unpredictable combat, and honestly makes the world feel way more alive and way more petty. Infighting does exist in vanilla, but it's rare. This mod lets you crank it up. You can go full Doom Eternal if you want, everything fighting everything, pure madness, or you can keep it subtle and spice up encounters without breaking immersion. So Capcom, let monsters be messy. The next mod I'd inject straight into vanilla immediately is Carry Me Senpai by Bona Nikki. It lets you carry your pawn bridal style once their affinity is high enough. In the base game you can soulmate a pawn and still drag them around like a caveman. Meanwhile, random NPC number 37 gets the princess carry. Make it make sense. The animation already exists in the game. It's baffling that your main pawn, the only entity you actually care about, doesn't get the treatment. It's a tiny detail, but one that would make a massive difference. Literally every single Dragon's Dogma 2 player I know would agree. If anyone deserves to be cradled like a fragile anime love interest, it's your pawn, and Ibrahim from the Checkpoint Rest Town.
The item you requested is complete.
And last one is not technically a mod, it's a feature inside Reframework by PreyDog 2. A free camera. I get it, camera restrictions exist so we don't glitch into the void or see something cursed, but Dragon's Dogma 2's photo mode is already one of the best features in a game, intentionally or not, despite its shortcomings, and a free cam would take it to the next level. The vanilla mode already lets you capture bizarre, beautiful, or outright cursed shots of your Arisen and their misfit pawn. I never cared about screenshots before this game, and now my folder's overflowing. What makes it great is how unique the results are. The game can be a chaos simulator and everyone's character looks different. And those moments you capture, they help keep the community alive. This video is called 5 Dragon's Dogma 2 mods I'd literally pay Capcom to add, but let's rapid fire some honorable mentions. Shield and Mantle Clipping Fix by Rydog8. Fixes fighters' capes clipping through shields. It drives me so insane I either ditch the cape or the shield. This should have been patched yesterday. Stop Selling Yourself by R457 prevents wandering pawns from constantly begging you to join your party. I get it, everyone wants to be Team Arisen, but this should really be a toggle in the options menu. Lastly, I think we're lacking Eternal Fairy Stone. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen had it, and there's no reason to not add it into Dragon's Dogma 2 Darker Arisen, again, if it ever comes. So, do you agree? What features would you like to see in the complete edition of the game if it ever becomes a thing? Let me know in the comments. And that's all I've got, see you in a bit.